Inside Foos presents FoosTalk Live.
We are live. We're actually in the same actual physical places. Like Tom, I'm looking at you. I'm physically looking at you and Adam and Clay.
It's very uncomfortable.
You can see my eyes roll now. I don't have a way to hide that.
It's FoosTalk Live.
You talking to me?
Compelling and lively banter. Are you going to talk to us? Talking foosball.
Foosball was how I measured my value as a man. You took that away.
Players and fans, promoters and pros. Unedited and raw.
Talk.
Living in the moment.
We have a lot of important things to talk about.
All while practicing social distancing.
Cool. We'll talk. No big whoop.
Let's get this thing started. FoosTalk Live. Coming to you live from the studios of Inside Foos, it's the 75th episode of FoosTalk Live, brought to you by InsideFoos.com, offering monthly subscriptions with access to some of the most exciting matches ever recorded, plus live tournaments, pre- and post-show analysis, interviews, and original programming. Sign up now at InsideFoos.com. Also brought to you by ProtectoFlex, the world's premier foosball safety accessory. Go to Protecto-Flex.com. Brought to you by 518 Prints, one of the best printers of promotional items, t-shirts, hoodies, and foosball apparel. Visit 518prints.com. Brought to you by Foosballers, the movie. This Joe Hesslinger foosball documentary now available as a worldwide download at foosballersthemovie.com. Also brought to you by USTSO, helping to usher in a new competitive foosball era. Become a member of USAFoosball.com. And brought to you by Foosball Clubs USA, promoting foosball through school systems all over the United States. Visit foosballclubsusa.com to make a donation today. And here I was thinking I was going to nail that, but you know what? I'm still a little tired from being live last weekend in Lexington, Kentucky at the 2021 Tornado Championships. And the entire weekend, I got a chance to hang out with some of my best buds from this medium called podcasting, including the greatest play-by-play announcer of all time for foosball. It is Jim Stevens. Hello, Jim.
Is the tournament over yet?
That
was quite a week in Lexington. I was there, I think, 8 days. In fact, it extended a little longer than that, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. As it did take about 25 hours for me to get back home, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but what a tournament it was. 588 players in Lexington, some incredible performances, including one in particular that we'll focus on a little later in the show tonight. But sure. And again, I'd like to encourage anyone listening tonight to go ahead and call in with your world's experiences or any questions you might have for Tom or Adam or I, or but still kind of feeling the effects of that great week in Lexington.
And speaking of which, Adam Gilson was there, for every single moment, every single dramatic play, and was just stellar in the booth. And of course, he's back with us once again. Adam, welcome. Adam from Ventura, California. Hello, Adam.
Jim, Tom, I'm actually still here in Kentucky. I haven't left.
My mistake. My bad.
Yeah. Just so you know, I'm still reporting. There's nobody there. It's like a weird shining vibe, but it's okay. We'll get through this.
So you're just like hanging out, watching people walk past. Hey, where'd the foosball tables go? What?
Well, I keep showing them. I keep showing them my badge, and I get discounted ketchup packets. So, I believe they call that.
Are you guys still hearing? You're still hearing the balls hitting the backs of goals?
Yes.
It's like you're at a Vegas casino, right? You leave the casino and you still hear the slot machines. It's kind of that way with a foosball tournament as well.
I don't nap a lot, but I've been taking hour-long naps at least every single day since I got back. It's been weird.
Well, what a great week it was. Of course, Adam and I and Tom, we would spend time up at the Inside Foods booth, along with, of course, guys like Clay Tumey and Mark Torres and Liz Moore and others. And it was really just it was really long, no doubt about it. And for those of you, we were there basically from Tuesday through, I got home Wednesday, the following Wednesday. And so we were there for a long time. Most of it was fantastic, but it was a lot.
Yeah. Quite significant, I have to say. It was for me. I got to say, now that I'm in my 60s, this is not a walk in the park. It's a physical, mental, all of the things you would expect for a tournament. And I really didn't. I guess I played a little too much, maybe. But really, just to be there, to watch everything, to try and pay attention all the time. Yeah, it's a demand on every aspect of your human beingness.
But what a great performance from, of course, Ryan Moore and Sullivan Rue, two of the stars of the event, and unexpected a little bit from Ryan Moore, although this is certainly one of the great players of all time. But we didn't realize he was going to come back from a 2-year hiatus,
right?
After having a couple of kids and kind of moving away from the sport a little bit, and be as focused as he was. And a focused Ryan Moore is a very dangerous Ryan Moore, and that was proven.
Mm-hmm.
He did not lose a match in the Open competition. Did lose one set, but not an individual match. So I think it was one of the great individual performances I think we've seen maybe ever.
Very impressive.
In here in the United States. Yep.
Yeah. Very exciting. The amount of energy built up in the room just between those two men facing each other, only 2.5 feet away from each other, just so palpable. Just amazing.
For sure. Let me ask Adam. I want to ask you, Adam. You've experienced the Tornado Worlds as a player. In the 2000s. What was it like to kind of experience this event as a reporter and kind of be there not to play? Although we certainly squeezed a few games in down on tables 1 and 3 and 4. But what was it like for you to experience from a little bit a different perspective?
That's a really great question, and I've been actually trying to digest that this past week since I got home because I've been wanting to upload on Facebook, as my interface with humanity, like pictures from the weekend or from the, that entire week. And I don't know, it's just really hard to encapsulate. It was great not to be able to play because I got to talk to people and make connections with people that I would never have otherwise. But as far as just like as a fan, as a spectator, I felt so fortunate that I got to see the things that I got to see and commentate on it because I don't know. I felt like I was like in the stands at an MLB game or like watching like a Dodger fan, right? And I'm just getting to watch it. It was really weird. It was like it's not an experience I've ever had as a foosball player. So I'm still trying to figure that one out.
All right, I'll ask you again next week. How's that?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, so you see a little more time to digest that whole thing. I mean, it really
but just that answer in itself,
just
that answer kind of tells you how overwhelming something like this can be. And certainly you're coming at it from a brand new outlook, a brand new point of view. It can be a little overwhelming. Absolutely. It's obviously something I've done so many times. Although each one of these is fresh and different in its own right. But no, I thought it was a great answer. Great non-answer. How about that?
Thank you.
You're learning, Adam. You're getting there.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm going to be a politician sooner than later.
Oh, no doubt. No, you're highly qualified. No question, especially after a weekend like that. But, you know, guys, after all this talk about foosball, I really do feel like a powerful thirst is coming on here. Well, that's not exactly the thirst I was thinking about. This is actually more of what I was thinking about. What Jim and I like to do right about this time is to reveal our favorite IPA. So I know that Scotty Scott came all the way from Alabama to turn us on to an Alabama IPA. Jim, what did you think of that?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I thought I'd give it a plus. I'd give it about a 60%, which is better than a 50%, which would be average.
Yep.
So I'd give it about a 60 on the scale of 100. I thought it was good.
Yep.
We certainly enjoyed an IPA or two, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, folks. Right next door to the Clarion Hotel there in Lexington, there's a gas station, an innocent-looking gas station.
Innocent.
But in that gas station is a beer cave. When you walk into it, and a couple of times we walked in there, and it felt like it was about 12 degrees below zero. But they had a pretty nice selection, which we promptly made smaller of beers. And so the Scotty Scott beer from Alabama was good. We had several things that weekend that were quite good.
Oh, yeah. No, outstanding. And so what have you decided to partake with tonight?
I'm sticking to the mountains of Colorado. There's a relatively small town near the headwaters of the Arkansas River. And the Arkansas River, if you don't know, flows from Colorado west of Denver all the way into the Mississippi River eventually. And Little Rock is on the Arkansas River, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, or Wichita, Kansas. This river, it's a long river, but it starts up in the Rocky Mountains. And there's a little town up there called Salida, Slaida. And there's a brewery in Salida called Soulcraft Brewing. I'm drinking the Soulcraft Brewing X-Ray IPA, 7% alcohol. It's 58 on the IBU scale. It's an India Pale Ale, of course. It's brewed with a combination of new school and old school hops, as well as hops from Australia. How about that?
Sounds amazing.
Hop bittering is assertive. Flavor and aroma include pineapple, grapefruit, melon, and pine. Body is medium with a semi-dry hoppy finish. All of that just off the top of my head.
Wow.
Let's have a sip. It's in a can. It's in a can, folks. I do taste the grapefruit and the pine. Absolutely. It's actually quite good. X-Ray IPA.
X-Ray IPA. Outstanding.
Tom, how about you?
It's actually, this is one of the first times I've done this because we've been, we're at this, 75 episodes. I'm finally going back to one of my top fives. It's, I don't like to repeat because, of course, I like to try something new every week. But this, I just couldn't help myself. It's Sculpin IPA. It's the grapefruit. It's Ballast Point Brewing Company. And this one, I got to say, it goes all the way back to San Diego, California. It's an East Coaster, or it's West Coaster, I should say. I got my coasts all mixed up. But yeah, it's a West Coaster. It's a San Diego, California, Ballast Point, Sculpin IPA, and it's a grapefruit. So let's sample it yet again. Let's see if it still holds up after all this time. Yep, the grapefruit is right at the top. Very nice.
Ballast Point is one of the original IPA breweries down in San Diego. They've been around for, I would think, at least 25 years.
No kidding.
And was one of the earliest ones I ever had. Actually renowned in the world of IPA is truly one of the pioneers in the genre, in this particular style of beer.
Right.
So you picked a good one there, Tom.
Yeah. I remember it from probably a show 15 or 16 or something like that is when I first tried it. But it's
whatever floats your boat.
Oh, indeed. And so, Adam and Alice, and now reveal to us what it is you are drinking this evening.
Well, as you know, I've been floating around, specifically in the Pacific Northwest, trying out all the IPAs up there. But I thought I'd go local.
Okay.
And I heard told that in Camarillo, California, there's a place called Institution that has good IPAs from my good foosball buddy, Chris McSween. And I think you might have mentioned him, Jim.
Yeah, we had this conversation when we were out there.
Did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I saw their IPA. It's called White Walls Citra IPA. It's a 6.7%. It's in an awesome bottle or can. It looks like Darth Vader's lunchbox. I love it.
Darth Vader's lunchbox.
As you know. But what got me about this is that it's derived from white wheat, which I know nothing about. But apparently it's a little more light, a little more citrusy. So I'm going to have a sip here. It's been sitting here, opening up a little bit.
It's a wheat IPA.
Really?
Yep.
Different. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So if those of you that are just trying to get into IPAs, I think this would be a good entry-level IPA. This is, and of course, I speak from 2.5 months of experience, but this is really easy to drink. It's not a haze. It's almost like an amber ale. It looks like an amber ale, but it's tasty. It's like very citrusy.
Like a good amber, by the way. Yeah, that's definitely saying something right there. Absolutely.
If you blindfolded me and told me to drink this, I wouldn't have known this was an IPA.
Really?
Well, it kind of is and it kind of isn't. Right. When you start bringing wheat into it, it sort of takes it over to the Hefeweizen side a little bit. And there are wheat IPAs, and you're obviously drinking one of them. That is a beer that I will not be trying. But when I go out there, I'm sure they have another IPA that doesn't have wheat in it. I'm not a guy that can drink a wheat beer, and but it sounds good to you.
Are you allergic? Are you allergic?
I mean,
whatever. Again,
Jim, are you allergic?
This is weird. I'm having an existential crisis on the air.
Existential.
This isn't bad, but it's just not what I was hoping for. So okay. But the can is cool.
Wow. So
here it is. Here I'm looking at it online. It's the White Walls Citra IPA. Yeah,
White Walls
great
Citra
can, great looking
IPA.
can.
Very cool.
Isn't it though?
Yeah, that is very classy.
I guess if that's their biggest takeaway, then I think we know what the beer's like. But anyways,
yeah,
I guess they can't all be winners.
No, they can't. And for me, it's just the wheat does something with it. It just throws my taste buds all off. But Anyway, understood. I look forward to going to the brewery though there in Camarillo.
Yeah, no, I want to try it out. Yeah,
right.
Cool.
Didn't mean to yuck your yum there, buddy. Sorry.
Yuck your yum. When did I hear that last
it's
time?
It's not. I don't remember.
Yuck your.
I don't remember hearing that.
Wow. Well, I just wanted to let you know that this evening we've got a couple of extra bonus points to gain because of FoosTalk Live, because we're still recovering from the echoes of the 2021 championships. Of course, we have a couple of bonus interviews we're going to air later on this evening. The lovely Liz Hill-Moore is going to join us with a backstage interview we did there at the tournament. Also, Francois Veilleux, I believe is how you pronounce his name.
Francois Veilleux. Yeah,
Veilleux.
really good, solid player out of Canada, out of Quebec. Yeah.
He also joined us for a brief interview backstage, and we'll be hearing that later, just after 10 o'clock Eastern time this evening. And also, I wanted to bring to your attention a brand new show that's going to be airing this Tuesday evening. In fact, I've got a little preview of this show, so hold on one second while I bring that to you. Inside Foos and FoosTalk Live proudly present Shootin' the Shot with Clay Tumey, Tuesdays.
I'm Tony Spredeman. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I've been living in Florida for about the past 10 years, and I'm a professional foosball player.
A professional foosball player. So that might be the first time I've heard you say your name. So now I know how to say it correctly. Yeah. It's not Spredeman. It's not Spredeman, right? It's
Spredeman.
Spredeman,
yeah.
How often do people mess that up?
Pretty much always.
Does it bother you?
No, I don't care.
Doesn't really matter. So it's the same with me. Like my last name is Tumey. People say Tummy.
Tumey.
Tumey.
You've earned that.
And as you can see, I have no notes. Like there's nothing but two mics between us. And this is my preferred method of talking to people.
Yeah, I enjoy this more natural, right?
Yeah, I agree. And it's also easier for me because I can just talk to you without worrying about where am I in my list of questions.
Right.
And you're not anti-beer or
no, I'll party afterwards.
Yeah,
but I'm here to do a job, and I came to the Worlds to win. And even if I don't win, at least I can go home saying, "Hey, you put forth the proper effort," and I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
Shootin' the Shot with Clay Tumey this Tuesday with Tony Spredeman. Find it here on Podbean and FoosTalk Live. So what say you? I mean, this is brand new for us. It's a brand new product for Inside Foos and FoosTalk Live. Clay Tumey, who spent a lot of time this past weekend at the championship, talking to people behind the scenes and getting these amazing, insightful interviews. And we're turning them into, there's so many of them, we're gonna air them for the next, 15, 16 weeks, something like that. And by the way, Clay, I believe, is with us from Dallas, Texas. Hello, Clay.
I'm here.
You're here.
What's going on? I'm debating on all the different IPAs that I just listened to. Debating which one I want to try next.
Well, if you want to hate something, drink the White Walls, because
I
just like
hate everything. I don't want to hate something. I want to hate everything. I'm still here
Clay,
in Kentucky as well. I'm waiting for a table at Denny's, and I just now learned it's
waiting but for it's not even open.
Yeah,
it's The Shining, man. We're in The Shining.
It took so long. Yeah.
Oh, that was the great disappointment of the weekend, is that we walked over to have breakfast at Denny's, the Denny's that we've attended for 15 years, and it was closed up. It was the windows were boarded. There was a fence around it. It was no longer there.
So bizarre.
And it's such a good part of town, too, with such great amenities.
Hey, Clay, shooting the shot. And I got to be careful when I say that. Shooting the shot. And I got to shoot the shot with you there in Lexington. I think Adam did as well. Maybe Tom did, too. I don't know. Okay, all of us. We all got to shoot the shot with you. And so, and the thing about it is it's not an interview, right? You sit down with Clay, and before you know it, really the entire thing is basically just a conversation. We're just sitting down and having a conversation, which I love. I love that style, and Clay is so good at it. So I'll be tuning in Tuesday night for sure to listen into the first episode with our great friend Tony Spredeman, as I've been saying for years.
Yes.
And so looking forward to that. And Clay, it's great to have you once again on the air, doing your thing, and your thing is really awesome. So thanks, man.
It's fun. Yeah, my pleasure, man. It is. And it's not, I can't do the formal interview. It's not even that I don't like them. I just don't have those skills. And what I love to do is talk to people. And there's so many interesting people in foosball. And so, that's pretty much the style. And dude, if I had to guess, I'd say probably a good, 100% of the interviews, or conversations, as I call them, start off with just talking and just saying, just like chit chatting. And then like 2 or 3 minutes in, go, oh, by the way, we already started, right? Like this is where it
exactly. Yeah.
And then they introduce themselves, and we just carry on.
I'm not sure we even talked foosball for the first 5 or 10 minutes, right? Or even longer, maybe. And that's cool.
Yeah, and it was that way with everybody. I mean, we covered all kinds of topics, and I talked with just to give you a little heads up of who to expect in the coming weeks / months. Is Tony, of course, will be this week, and then I don't know in what order they'll air, but it's Tony, Ryan, Blake, the three of you, Midori, And that's just off the top of my head. I mean, there's several more beyond that I had the opportunity to sit and chat with throughout the weekend there at Worlds. And, it's fun to talk foosball. I love foosball and I love foosball players. And then in addition to that, I love getting to know like the people that are, on the table all the time. Like, what are they like away from the table? And what gets their mojo going, or however you want to say it. So there's some interesting people, some interesting topics out there.
And it's so great. I mean, you're so good at that, Clay. Like, in the abstract, we could always talk about foosball and talk about the strategy and this and that and the other thing. But when you look at the actual human element behind what people are doing, I think not only is it just great to see that that's just like the foosball family in which we exist, but you kind of get a better idea of like how people do what they do on the table based on what's going on behind them. And I don't know, it's just an interesting, tit for tat that goes on there.
Oh, 100%. The personality doesn't just dictate how you are in social situations. It influences how you compete. And the way that Tony is as a competitor is kind of the way that he goes about life. And he's really good at things, and he's really efficient with things. Or you take somebody like Tommy Atkinson, who I also spoke with at Worlds, and the way that he goes through the game on the table, it's aggressive, it's fast, it's unpredictable. Sometimes it's scary. And guess what? We get into some conversation pieces about his personal life that and all of those adjectives apply. His life has been fast and aggressive and loud and scary away from the table. And I believe that the way that you are is the way that you compete. And it's fun to see how those kind of go together sometimes.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Can't wait. Yeah, looking forward to Tuesdays now. Tuesdays, these the Shooting with a Shot with Clay Tumey is going to be available as a download here at our website. You'll also be able to find it on Podbean, and it's something that I think it's bound for success. Let's put it that way.
I think so too. And we were all successful in saying shooting the shot accurately every single time, which is
the
really
reason
our
I
main
didn't
goal.
try to say it. I can't.
All right, Clay. Looking forward to it, buddy.
Hey, can I just real quick give Jim kudos to this? Because actually I was talking to him about this in the booth. Like, I was like, man, it'd be cool if there was like a thing, like, like just a name for like, because all I do is I just shoot the blank, shoot the blank with people. And that's just what I do. And Jim goes, well, you're shooting the shot. And I was like, wait a second. Not only is that a nice little play on words with the phrase that's probably not appropriate for the actual title, but it's also, it's connected to foosball. So perfect.
Oh,
threw it out to Tom. He's like, oh yeah, I love it. So yeah, kudos to Jim for that creative.
Wow, Jim.
There.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, just,
there you go.
I was freestyling. We were freestyling.
Yeah.
It just sort of
that's where the ideas come from, man. That's
right.
That's the idea behind the whole. I mean, that matches right what we're doing there. So,
love it.
I didn't realize you were the progenitor there, Jim. That's awesome.
I don't know if I'm the progenitor, but maybe the progenitor would be the more accurate. But,
I've seen you with the chamois. You're good with the chamois.
Watch it there, buddy.
Not to mention,
keep it clean. Oh, wait a minute.
That's a chamois. Oh no!
Clean up on all.
Dad joked me.
Where's Steven?
Dad joke you.
I'm not even done with my IPA here.
Yeah.
Nor will you ever be. You're going to finish it when you leave Kentucky, I think.
I know. I am.
Shooting
right. Looking forward to Tuesday night, Clay. Yep. Thank you, man.
Shooting the shot with Clay Tumey. Looking forward to it.
Is it going to be does it just go live on Tuesday that we can download, or is there an actual airtime or?
Yeah, so it's going to be available 5:00 Eastern time. So Eastern Daylight Time, that is, as of Tuesday evening. So
nice.
You'll be able to go there, download it, listen to it, and you'll love it. It's really, I've heard some of these advanced copies, and I just cannot believe how amazing these are. So don't miss out on that. And we'll keep talking about it, of course.
Yeah.
So guys, I know this last weekend is still in the very near past for us, but it is history now. 2021 World Championships, or shall we say Tornado World Championships, are in the past. So it's only fair that we bring them back to life one more time. With great moments in foosball history, this is a FoosTalk Live Flashback.
Ryan, after the dead ball, will put it back into play. Tried to go to that short side, then grabs it on the 5 on the rebound. Ryan tried to go along the wall. Tony there. That one angled wide of the goal. And Tony will reset. And then have it taken away by Moore. Another chance to win it for Ryan. Ryan Moore. Strokes it home, and there it is. Ryan Moore holds on to defeat Tony Spredeman 8-6 in the fifth and final game of the second set of the Open Singles Final to win the 2021 Tornado World Singles Championship and end the run of Tony Spredeman at 5 in a row. What a match, what a performance by the big guy Ryan Moore as he claims his third World Singles Championship on the Tornado table.
What a performance. What heart, what spirit.
What soul, what love, what passion we all feel right now.
I do.
No, I feel like I've been a part of history. These great matches, I'm so flattered and proud to be a part of them.
In the year 2021, in the Battle of the Titans, it is that man right there, Ryan Moore of Tulsa, Oklahoma, who reigns supreme and will be the Tornado World Singles Champion, at least for the next year. Boy, that was a hell of a match.
Listen in next time for another great moment in foosball history. It's FoosTalk Live Flashback. Wow, that brings back memories, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah, it does.
Oh my goodness! What a Saturday night that was! It was about 2 hours in total length, right? And it was the three of us, Adam and Mark and myself, sitting up there commentating this match, which just got more dramatic as it went on. You can kind of tell by the hushed tone of the commentary that we were on the edges of our seat, right, Adam? I mean, it was an incredible show of table soccer, maybe played at as high of a level as we have ever seen anywhere, any place. And it was Ryan, eventually, who came out on top of an absolutely classic match. And of course, all of it's available at InsideFoos.com, folks. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and you'll get that match and so much more. But still, what a buzz I have from that match. Right. The highlight of the weekend for me. Yeah. And it was just remarkable.
Yeah.
Really,
and just to go back, I want to circle back to your question about like my impressions or takeaway from that week, like as a commentator, like, for me, really honestly, it really boils down to matches like that or that moment. Like I get to be a part of that. And I just I don't even know what else to say that I got to be a part of that. Like it is just so overwhelming and amazing.
Yeah, the crowd was into every point, every ball that went in, every score. The crowd would erupt, and it really wasn't. They weren't cheering for one or the other necessarily. No. Of course, there were pockets of fans for each. Right. They were cheering for great foosball. The fact that they were getting to be a part of that and getting to be involved with something epic, historic like this Open Singles Final. Really something.
Because they all knew they were a part of something special. It was amazing.
Yeah, just the energy. Just to watch if you watch the replay, what you guys recorded, there are just moments where you could feel the oxygen just being sucked out of the room, right into that table, and it just all focused on those moments. I mean, what? I don't know how else to put this, but I sure wish you were there.
And you heard Tony talk about in that brief clip that we had with Clay, about how even if he loses, if he feels like he put it all out on the table, then he feels okay. Right. And, after the match, Tony hung out on the table for maybe 15, 20 minutes talking with others, totally not depressed, just, still just Tony, right? And we kind of remarked on that. We kind of noticed that he was talking with people, talking with Ryan, just talking about being a part of that, I suppose. And he played fantastic. Both players did.
And you get to hear on Tuesday evening with Shoot the Shot, before Tony actually went into that incredible match, Clay had talked to him, and you'll hear what his philosophy is, even if he doesn't win. This is, how he feels about things, even when things don't go his way. So I think
have to imagine.
Yeah. It's
that's how the greats look at it, right? It isn't about winning or losing. It's about exceeding or reaching your potential. Right. It's about every ball. You play every ball hard. You play every ball smart. You do the best you can. Whatever happens, happens. Win or lose. Those are things that are outside your power to some degree. Mm-hmm. You have the power. You're able to control the things you can control. And then if you do that, how can you not be satisfied?
Right, exactly. It's hard to put all of this into perspective, even though it's behind us now. It's still we're going to be talking about this for quite some time. Let's just put it that way. So, guys, I think that we've been talking about this amongst ourselves for several weeks. This top 5 we've decided to do tonight.
Ventura Highway.
Oh boy, here we go.
In the sun.
What do you say we get into this without further ado?
Let's do it.
Time once again for the FoosTalk Live Top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here's Jim Stevens and Mark Torres. And the part of Mark Torres is once again being played by Adam Gilson. Hello, Adam.
You do such a great job, Adam, of playing Mark. The USA Marching Band is not on my list, by the way.
No?
Back in the 1970s, guys, there was a gentleman named Gary Pollock, and maybe you're aware of him, Adam. He actually was inducted into the Table Soccer Hall of Fame about 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy was not. He was a player. He'd play a little bit. Well, what he was is he was a singer. He was a singer-songwriter. And he wrote songs about foosball, right? About Wiz and Fur and about all the different players and the situations and everything. He's actually featured in the movie Foosballers as well. But, I went searching, when we decided to do this, I went searching to see if there was any song anywhere in the world that incorporated the word foosball. And there is not a single. So there are no foosball songs.
No.
Except for what Gary Pollock wrote back in the day. But I think probably for this one, and tonight our topic is, Tom, you can explain it better than I. What is the exact name of our topic tonight?
The top 5 this evening are the 5 top songs you would use to, shall we say, get yourself charged up for a big tournament. What music would you listen to really get yourself going? I think that's probably the best way I can put it. But top 5
top
songs,
5 foosball songs or whatever, right?
Yeah. Songs you would personally find energizing, right? We want to get ourselves going. I know because of the Friday DYP in Albany, we've take over the jukebox for most of the tournaments typically. And there are certain songs we can play and certain songs that just fall flat. So
I took a little different tact tonight on mine, and Adam, I'm sure, took a little different approach to it as well. So I'm kind of looking forward to this one, guys. Let's do it.
Let's do this. FoosTalk Live Top 5. Number Adam, it's your first turn.
I got to take you back to 2002. Those of you who know me now know that I might be a little bit talkative and jovial, but back when I first started playing, I was a wallflower because I was just focused on reading my Proust and sitting in the corner waiting for a match. Cut to 2002 when I went to my first Colorado State and stayed at the very polite domicile of Mark Madej and Beth Madej. They weren't married at the time, but and I got to experience foosball in a different way because they were more of the, they're happy-go-lucky players and stuff like that. And my experience when we finally got to the tournament was Mark Madej on repeat playing this song over and over again on the jukebox because it still had one at this place. And it was The Final Countdown by Europe, and I can never hear it.
It's the final countdown.
How can you not hear that and want to go grab some foosball tables and just slam balls and just, oh, God, just hearing it now. I got to go, guys. I got to go find a DYP.
I love it. The Final Countdown from Europe. I mean, it was like the quintessential hair band.
Mm-hmm. And anybody that knows Mark Madej, it's just so fitting.
And did that band ever have another hit? That's what I want to know.
No.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never heard of them outside of that. Did they?
Well, in foosball circles, maybe, possibly.
Oh.
Okay. So Jim, right. It's your turn. What is your number 5 top 5 songs? Jim?
He's blown away by my number 5.
I know, he's just completely dusted off by it. Well, if we can get Jim back, well, in the meantime, I'm actually participating in the top 5 this evening.
Yes.
So I've got to go. Jim, are you back there?
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. There's a mute button on here that sometimes you forget to unmute yourself. No, my kids love that song, Adam. It was, the reason I was muted, by the way, is my kids just brought me in a chocolate chip cookie.
Oh,
it's sort of a tradition here on FoosTalk Live that they bake up some sort of treat for me and bring it in during the show.
Oh,
isn't that sweet?
I love that. I love that.
My kids love that song. But my 5 tonight, each one I'm approaching from kind of a different angle. Yes, they all kind of pumped me up, but maybe that isn't exactly the angle I took. Each of these maybe is a part of my career or for a different reason or whatever. When I first started playing, way back in the day at a place called Shipwreck Rick's in Marina Del Rey, California.
Shipwreck Rick's.
I went up there the first year, found a foosball table, got on it. And I had a foosball table at home 6 years earlier. So I got on there and I said, I'm pretty good at this. And of course, as so many people have documented, we aren't very good at it at first. We get beat up by a local gang, which happened.
Mm-hmm.
But while that was going on, as I was in that room back in 1976, believe it or not, there was one song that would come on, one album that would come on every single night I was there. And that was Frampton Comes Alive. We would sit there on a Saturday night, a Friday night, a Sunday night, any night of the week, because we were there every single night. And Peter Frampton using the guitar voice wah-wah effect, which we had never heard before, right? And so we're sitting there playing, and I remember that what Shipwreck Rick's felt like. I remember the players that were there. I remember what it smelled like, but I also remember Peter Frampton Comes Alive, which was a huge album, just a huge album. And that particular part of it with that Do You Feel Like I Do guitar voice effect is prominent in my memory of when I first started playing foosball. So there it is, number 5 for me, Frampton Comes Alive.
Frampton Comes Alive, that summer of 1976, the number 1 live album for many, many years to come. Number 1 live, and it was a double album set. So you had a lot of Peter Frampton Comes Alive in the summer of 76. Wow. What an extraordinary story. Well, just because I don't often get a chance to participate in the top 5, I had to chime in on this one. So for me, back in 1974, 75, 76, 77, musical change was taking place all over the globe. And as I got into my senior year in high school, I was playing Bonzini foosball probably 4 or 5 nights a week. And got a chance now. I turned to 18 right around that time, so I was able to go into the local bars. And one of the songs that I always used to love when we were getting ready to play and pound on some college kid was this one by Elvis Costello. So "Pump It Up" from Elvis Costello was definitely on the big speakers in the club called Abner Doubledays. Back in the day, 4 Bonzini tables in that club. And nice. Really excellent stereo, and just that would really get me going, no question about it.
Abner Doubleday, a Civil War hero who is credited with inventing baseball.
Correct. That is correct. Yeah, Abner Doubleday. And of course, we're only 20 minutes from the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. So that was the significance right there. So yeah. Anyway, that's my number 5. FoosTalk Live Top 5. Number 4. All right, Adam.
This is obviously a very subjective list for myself, and this is a song that always popped up since my first DYPs that I started going to over at in Long Beach at Yankee Doodles. Oh my goodness, 23 years ago. This is a classic, and there's nothing else for me to say except for maybe just to hear the sound drop and just feel it. Jessica by the Allman Brothers Band. If you could find a more joyous noise than that, when the guy wrote it because the first time he saw his daughter walking, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, no, that's terrific. I really love that.
Oh boy, apparently I do too. As Adam, coincidentally, intelligent minds think alike, or whatever we're going to say. And Adam, I did not know what Adam's list was. I promise you. I took a little bit of a different approach. It was all about when I first started. Once I got out of Shipwreck Rick's and started playing tournaments, hitting the road. Getting out on the road and driving to tournaments, right? And that can be a whole separate topic. What are the best road trip songs, right? But for me, that's what this is about. This is a road trip song. It's about you get in the car, you're heading from LA to Reno to play in the $50,000 tournament in 1979, and this song would be on the radio. What are the odds, Adam Gilson? What are the odds?
There's only there's only 10
million songs out there.
I know, right?
That is
That's
awesome.
crazy.
Yeah,
and Tom kept that in. Tom knew it. Tom knew it.
Yeah,
he
Tom,
didn't say a word. But yeah, number 4 for me. But for me, it's a traveling song, man. On the road, driving down the highway. Jessica by the Allman Brothers.
Well, guys, it's also the theme to one of my favorite all-time BBC series called Top Gear.
Oh yeah,
they used to use that, especially back in the days in the heyday when it was a good show, with Jeremy, Richard, and and I forgot Hamster, Richard Hamster, and Jeremy Clarkson and James May did their thing, and they played that the opening of every show, and it just
Allman Brothers, one of the most underrated, one of the great bands of all time, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I know that when we got together after the tournament, we were all heading back to the airport, and we were talking about just music in general. Get stuck in the airport for about 4 hours and waiting for our flight to leave, and we got into this long conversation about music and a lot of debating going on. And one of the debates was Beatles or Stones, and that always seems to happen in musical conversations. But I got to say, my number 4 definitely stands out for me as one of the all-time greats, not only in music, but also for me when it comes to getting pumped up for foosball again in that place in Abner Doubledays, hearing this song. So rock and roll, it's only rock and roll from the Rolling Stones, of course, quintessential from that generation, that era, 1970. 73, I think, something like that. The time escapes me now. But that was absolutely a great song to get pumped to when it came to not just foosball, but just things in general, just to get psyched up. But there you go. There's my number 4. FoosTalk Live Top 5. Number 3.
So what a lot of you know, listening the last couple of weeks, months, is that I owe a lot of my foosball background, of course, my dad who played, but often what gets missed in that is my mom, Rosario. She played also foosball, and she was also really did a lot of stuff in the background for tournament soccer. And growing up as a kid, like whenever we were like this sort of in the mid 90s. Playing foosball, we'd have foosball parties, people come over to the house, and, and I just assumed everybody always had a foosball table with them, or at their house. And something that my mom imparted on me was if my dad was the intellectual side, my mom was the heart. And whenever this song came on, it was always heart and dance and rhythm, and it was so much fun. It's such a great memory. Every time you hear it, I'm ready to go.
Oh yeah, I'd actually forgotten about that song, and you're right. That's high energy stuff right there. That's great.
It is. Yeah,
that is
Republican,
good stuff.
1996.
Our good friend Brad Loreen and I actually produced a montage. I want to say it was 2001 that we played at the Tornado World Championships using that song. Ready to go.
Really?
It seems like an obvious foosball song,
it does.
doesn't it?
Right,
Wow.
It does, yeah.
Very, very cool. Really dig that for sure.
So for me, of course, I started off with when I started with Frampton Comes Alive, then road trips, hitting the road, right? Listening to the Allman Brothers while traveling down Interstate 5, going north or going out I-10 east or whatever. But number 3, once I started to get good, it was time to practice, right? Whether it was at someone else's house for a brief time, I had a table during the late 70s and then in the early 80s as well. And it was about practicing. And what kind of music would I put on when I practiced, when I would be on the table doing repetitions, doing passes, doing shots? And for me, if I wanted to blow through a good 45 minutes of practicing without really being anywhere, just kind of being at the table, mindless, just kind of into the music, for me, it was one of the biggest selling albums in the history of rock and roll. And it was Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. I mean, you put that on, right? You put it on, it takes you places. It takes you here and it takes you there and it takes you way out there. And meanwhile, here you are doing repetitions. You're doing 10 wall passes. You're doing 10 lane passes. You're doing 15 long push kicks. You're doing the short angle, the long angle. You're doing the 3/4 split. You're doing the squared off short push kick. You're doing the split dink. You're doing the short dink. You're doing the hesitation long. And you're doing all of this while listening to arguably one of the 5 greatest albums ever produced.
Yes.
Dark Side of the Moon, which took, and as I recall, Tom, and of course you can back this up, it was on the Billboard Top 100 for something like 20 years,
20
right?
years.
I mean, it was there forever.
Yep. Top 100, 20 years. That's the longest running single album of all time. No one even comes close to the amount of time it spent on the top 100. Just astounding.
Yeah, it's incredible. And you try it out at home, folks. If you're going to get on your home table and you're going to practice doing repetitions, put that album on. You'll blow through 45 minutes. You'll blow through hundreds of repetitions and do it, and come out the other side of it as a different person.
Yeah, no question about it.
Blow through a bag of mushrooms or two.
I'm glad somebody said it. Thanks, Clay.
Thank you, Clay.
I was kind of letting it just sort of sit out there, folks. Not that I did that, but many people did.
Well, I know you didn't inhale. That's for sure. We can tell. So that's a good thing, Jim. But yeah, but very motivational nonetheless. And I would say my number 3 goes back to the 60s, actually. But again, it comes down to just our lifestyle back in the day. Of course, when we were playing foosball, the kinds of things we did to get ourselves ready for playing. And this is certainly applies.
Known for its sound in places, small places of the night.
8 Miles High from the Birds. 8 Miles High. Yes. And
what a great LA band, the Birds. Amazing band.
Man, of course, those guys back in the day, some of their members went off to a super group called Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. And
David Crosby,
made some inroads there. I think we all recognize their contribution to music, but also to those of us who got into playing foosball. Music is a really huge part. I don't know about you guys, but even when it comes to the DYP, it's got to be the right stuff, no doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Birds, 8 Miles High at number 3.
FoosTalk Live Top 5. Number 3.
2.
Yeah, Tom, you said it.
Number 2.
Music and number 2.
We're up to number 2, aren't we? Okay, never mind.
All right. Okay, don't worry. I got it all marked off. But Tom, you said it. Foosball music, they're interrelated, and just talking about my mom in the last one just kind of made me emotional. It's weird how all these things are very interconnected with us. And for number 2, I got to in a sense, and I've talked about him before, but John Sneaky Jack Graham passed away last year. He's my foosball friend and mentor. And
oh, wow.
We had the Bardo, and that was a very important thing for me to be able to speak on his behalf. But the last thing he asked me to do was to take a picture of his Hall of Legends induction jacket on the pit table number 1 on the goalie rods, because he was a goalie. And in a sense, this happened at Worlds. He asked me to do that at Worlds this past week, and I got a chance to do that. And in a sense, that for me, it got to lay him to rest, because it was very cathartic for me. But it goes full circle because and I've told you guys this before. In 1998, I went to my first DYP a week before I went to my first Hall of Fame, and it was with Jack, and we were in his cloth top Jeep, and we just jumped into it, and we're going down to Long Beach, and it turns on his little CD thing, and this song starts blasting.
Wow, that's a great choice.
It is. And if there's a more primal, barbaric yelp for the destruction of your opponent in a very polite way on a foosball table, it's that song. I can't hear that opening riff without just being like, get me to a table now.
That is great. I love that. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing, the magic of music? When we think back on history, I've actually been watching on Apple Plus. There's a show called 1971, How Music Changed the World. It's called. And I've been watching that lately, and it's incredibly fascinating the way music is tied in with politics and what was going on in the world. And for those of us who are foosball players, music absolutely was the soundtrack of so much of our careers, right? So as I get down to number 2, I'm out now playing 5 DYPs a week, right? And the music is rocking. In some places, it's really loud. I mean, it is booming at the Pitcher House there in Hermosa Beach every Thursday night when we're down there. I went down there and played probably 50 tournaments a year for 8 or 10 years. And that music is booming, right? And for me, one of the great bands of all time, certainly a top 3 band all time for me, and one of the primary backdrops, soundtracks of my career traveling around LA playing DYPs was this song. I mean, the energy, right? The energy that brings, man. It just makes you want to get out there and play some 5-man D, doesn't it?
It does.
And so, but music has been so important, in our everyday lives, but so much in foosball. And I'm sure everybody out there listening, everybody who has downloaded this podcast can relate. Whether you started in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, it doesn't matter. It's about music. And even last week, at the Worlds, we had control of a really cool speaker there in the pit area, which is separate from the rest of the ballroom.
Okay.
And so early in the day, I made sure I put on some Miles Davis. I put on some jazz early on as we're kind of getting things going, and then kind of ramp things up as we go on. And music is so much a part of it. When people are playing in the pit area, they wanted music, and sometimes it wasn't the right music, right? They'd say turn it down, or they'd say turn it up, and that's certainly what we did. Back in the day, when I was playing 5 or 6 DYPs a week around LA, we'd say, turn it up, man. I want to hear some Led Zeppelin or rock and roll.
Oh, man. I got to, Jim, this is one of those moments where you and I have just existed on the same plane. And that is my number 2 as well. Let's hear it again.
Wow.
Yeah, really cool.
It's been a long time and a long time and a long, lonely, 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 lonely time.
Just listen to
John
that.
Bonham,
John
man,
Bonham,
pounding the
yes.
skins. Is
Yes.
that incredible?
Yeah.
Oh my God, John Bonham in that, just to me. There was just recently I saw a documentary about the greatest drummers of all time. John Bonham is in the top 3 of greatest drummers, along with Ginger Baker. I mean, wow, that guy, he just killed the drum kit. Just killed it.
Oh man.
And so there you have it. There's a number that was our number 2, and Jim and I are thinking alike on that one.
FoosTalk Live proudly presents
the top 5.
Number 1.
All right, Adam, you got to let us have it now, man. What is it? What is it? I can't wait.
Numero uno.
So back in the 90s when I was playing foosball with my folks, my house, and we'd have friends, neighbors over. I didn't know about tournaments at the time. I didn't know anything. I had my little crappy TS table with broken men and holes in the floor, and we would be listening to music, and my dad would be barbecuing, and there'd be smoke from the barbecue floating, and I remember that smell so vividly. And my dad would smoke a cigar, and there'd be smoke coming from that. It would just smell so good, and my mom would be in there cooking and making all kinds of food, and sometimes, there would be just this nice smoky flavor of whatever it is she's going in there, and then there was this smoke on the water.
Smoke on the water, fire in the sky. Smoke on the water.
Oh, Adam, you just made me cry, man. You just made me cry. Wow.
I just can't tell you the interconnectivity between all those feelings, those smells, those feelings, and hearing that music. It's just I don't know. It's something else.
A whole lot of smoking going on around the old
it is a lot of
household.
smoking going on. Right.
Cigars, the whole
It is
nine.
SoCal.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
very,
that's a
very
great
cool.
one, man. Richie Blackmore, talk about your great lead guitarists. He is certainly top 5, I think, all-time rock and roll, up there, Jimmy Page, etc. But
Ian Pace.
But Richie Blackmore, underrated, and I think he won like Guitarist of the Year like 3 or 4 times in a row back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Great band.
Oh man.
Deep Purple.
So, Jim.
All right. So, okay, first we started in 1976, Frampton Comes Alive. Then I'm out on the road with the Allman Brothers and Jessica. Then I'm practicing at home at The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. And then I'm rocking out at the local DYPs. All right. So I start working the pro tour, right? And the 90s go by. We don't have a lot of great audio equipment there in the pit area. But then in the 2000s, we started to think more about the show. right? We started presenting the tournament behind us on these big giant screen TVs. And in some cases, there was this one that was like 9 different screens. There was like a tic-tac-toe board up there that would all combine to be one screen. It was huge. It was amazing. The ball was like 1.5 feet across as it came at you in our close-up camera. But we also started to do the interviews, these introductions, these boxing type introductions, which I love to do. We did it last week, of course, and we used this song. And it starts off with a bit of piano, just a singular piano playing, and then suddenly it's boom, and that's when I would launch into "Ladies and Gentlemen." So go ahead and play it, Tom, and then we'll go from there.
All right.
So we do the piano, right? And then I launch into these intros and I try to duplicate all the great boxing announcers and people seem to enjoy it, etc. But then the song itself, right now, there's no tomorrow. So we would let the music run as the players are down there warming up on the table. As Tony and Ryan last week in that match, that clip that we played, we did this. This was our intro song. Oh. And it's been the intro song for some of the biggest matches in the history of foosball over the last 20 years. And it just prepares the viewers. It prepares the players. It has the right kind of message. Right now, there's no tomorrow. We're here to play some foosball. We're here to win some championships. And I think it's just the perfect introduction song. And I think for me, it is number one because of that. It's been the intro song, boxing style intros for some of the biggest matches in the world right now by Van Halen.
Wow, great stuff.
Wow.
Your top fives are really impressive considering that you're foosball players and haven't really focused much on music in your life.
And you are a radio man who knows far more about music than
See, I can make fun of you now because anyway, what a great list. I have to say, I'm very impressed by your choices. But my number one, I think, is by leaps and bounds the number one song because when you go to a tournament like I just went to this last week and you play as a quote unquote beginner, and you play people who are just so much better. And you get a chance to see how other people play from across the country. You walk away with a certain perspective. And you vow that when you return...
We don't get fooled again! Don't get fooled again! No!
So I vow not to get fooled again. If I go back there, I'm not going to get that same snake shot, shot at me 5 times in a row. Just not going to happen.
Love that, man. Now that's a rock and roll band right there, isn't it?
Yeah. Tom, that's got to be your favorite band, right?
It is. Favorite band? One of my favorite interviews of all time was interviewing Roger Daltrey. He was just
oh my goodness,
what a gentleman!
There's a little bomb to drop.
What a great guy!
See what he did there?
What a great guy! No,
my favorite meal was cooked by Gordon Ramsay.
But no, it's I couldn't help myself because walking away from the tournament, not feeling at all dejected because I lost but learned so much. And vow when I come back, I'll be a whole lot better when I go back to next year's tournament.
Won't get fooled again. Love it. A great list, guys. And now there was some crossover. Adam and I had one similarity and same song, and then Tom and I as well. So great job. Great list, guys.
So quick question. Was there a minimum age requirement? Because I'm 42 years old and I'm pretty sure all those songs are older than me.
No.
No. Right now is younger than you.
Yeah. Ready to go.
My point stands. My point remains.
Yeah, good point. All right.
Your point remains, yes. No, it's...
Oh, good Lord. Are you guys done?
Oh, look who it is. It's Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Mark, is your top 5 just you singing cover songs?
Listen, man. Here's what's horrible. Here's what's horrible, okay? I'm going to be very honest with you. I grew up listening to Black Sabbath and AC/DC and Iron Maiden, but there was a problem in 88, 89 when I started playing because we're playing in my garage listening to the top 40. And if I'm going to be honest about the music of my foosball childhood, it's Milli Vanilli, Girl You Know It's True, Dino,
Is that why,
Summer Girls, Stevie
Is that why you set this out?
Spring, that's why, exactly. It was the
You're
black
this
hole
on the air.
It was a black hole of crappy music.
You're not really setting it out if you're...
So all your beautiful tunes, classics, love them. My foosball youth is a nostalgia of crappy, horrible music.
My number one was Hanging Tough by New Kids on the Block, so I had to set out as well.
Yeah, you had a black hole too, man. Mine was like like straight up now. Tell Me by Paula Abdul.
Oh, hey, but I mean,
nothing wrong with Paula Abdul.
That's
Straight
that's
up.
a good song.
Wow.
Anyway, you guys have an exciting list, man. Music was great. I love those tunes, all of them. So
Cool.
Yeah, and when you agree, Mark, that music has been such a part of all of our foosball careers, I mean, our lives in general, but as far as foosball goes, there's just something about having those tunes playing while you're practicing or playing at a DYP or a major event. I mean, music is such a part of the fabric of foosball.
yes, and as horrible as Summer Girls is by Dino. I don't know if you know this song. I wish they all could be like summer girls. Girl. It's horrible. But Fernando and I listen to that song because when you listen to the radio, it repeats like every 2.5 hours. So we've heard that song 1,000 times. And as much as we hate that song, we laugh. It's a nostalgic part of our youth, no matter how horrible the music is.
Right.
So yeah, music is just embedded like a sense, like a seventh sense. ESP is the sixth, of course, which I also have. ESP and the music, the sixth and seventh sense.
The seventh sense.
When you say that ESP is just sort of a combination of the other five.
True story. Fernando, my dear friend Fernando, thought that meant extra special powers until he was in his 20s because he didn't know extra sensory perception was. Anyway, all right, guys. Great stuff.
Right. Great stuff.
I hope nobody knows anything like that about me.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun, guys. I do have a heart out. I gotta head out of here. No offense to you, Mark. You're just joining us.
It was Mark. Ready to go. I'm ready to go.
It was Mark.
This was Mark's gonna step in for me. He's gonna pinch hit for me. This was maybe our longest top five of all time. I think.
Yeah, no question. No question.
We're right up against the top of the hour, but great show, guys. Great lists, except for Mark's.
Yeah.
And and great. Looking forward to shooting the shot on Tuesday night. And thanks, guys.
Yeah, shooting the shot Tuesday. You'll be able to pick up it as a download on Podbean and FoosTalk Live at 5:00 on that's 5:00 Eastern Daylight Time. Shooting the shot with Clay Tumey, and I tell you guys, we had a blast tonight. Mark, did you have any parting shots? Just now that you stepped in.
I listened, man. This was great. You guys, it was awesome. Thank you. I'm a rap too. I'm ready.
Cool. Clay, would you like to throw in a parting shot here?
I do have a parting question, if that's allowed.
Sure.
You said that the shooting the shot was going to go up on the Podbean app. Is it going to also be available on like Apple iTunes and Stitcher and all the various platforms
all the platforms out there that we're connected to, including iTunes? It certainly will be connected to those as well. So wherever you get your podcast.
This first one with Tony, I assure you, will be a conversation worth hearing. So definitely to anybody curious, we don't always talk about foosball. We got into talking about how much of a nobody he is in his musical circles, like with the open jam sessions and stuff. So there's a fun story in there about that as well. So.
Yep.
Exactly. Oh, nice.
Yep.
It's always fun when you pull back the curtain and you see the Wizard of Oz is really just Tony Spredeman.
Yep.
Cool.
He was in a bar once, and the Foosballers was on the TV, and they had this moment of like, "Hey, wait, that's you? Hey, you're on ESPN." Yeah, it's actually funny hearing him tell that story.
That is the coolest. Cool. Can't wait for that.
Hold on a second. Did he show up at the bar dressed like he was in the show and put it on the big screen and just like sat there with the sunglasses? Well, wait a minute. Is that me?
Right. Mark, that sounds like something you'd do.
He had the raps. He had the raps hanging from his hip, like he's
the whole nine. Yeah, the shorts and the Jesus hairdo. Just love it. No,
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Sure. And Adam, how about you? You got any parting shots for us? No. Hey,
no.
Coming
got
from
nothing.
Somebody who
I'm still recovering. Like I still,
You who reads Emily Dickinson, I find that shocking. You have nothing more to say.
I don't even understand how. No, I don't have anything more to say. But Robert Frost is a hack, and that's what I'm going to say.
Whoa,
he is.
Where did this come from?
I opened the door.
It was a protracted conversation, but no, seriously.
You walked
now
through
we're talking geometry. Gotcha.
Man, okay,
you
guys.
That a joke, or do you really believe that?
Pulled off the scab, Tom.
we went to blows, by the way, off stage. It was no Robert Frost, no Emily, no, and yeah, it ended ugly. Sorry, but hey,
my parting shot
started ugly.
I'm going to read the entire Wikipedia page for Robert Frost.
There you go.
That'll be Robert Frost was born in San Francisco, California. I don't know why my voice changed. But anyways,
I like that.
I dig it.
I'd listen to that.
Yeah. In a heartbeat.
All right. Well, that's week 2, shooting the shot. Wikipedia pages, apparently.
You got a fan.
All right, cool.
Indeed. Well, guys, I think that next week, to say the least, we'll be back again with another episode of FoosTalk Live. But it's not over yet because we have some backstage bonus interviews here tonight. Liz Hill-Moore and Francois Veilleux. I'm trying to pronounce that correctly, but he's from Quebec City. And really great player and talk to us as well. So before we say goodnight, we wish you the best and thank you. Stick around for Liz Hill-Moore and a backstage bonus from the 2021 Foosball Championships. Here we are in Lexington, Kentucky. It's the 2021 Tornado Championships. And what a weekend. It's spectacular. Lots of action happening. It's already Saturday, the middle of this tournament. And we've already seen incredible drama here at the in the pits at the 2021 Tornado Championships. I am very privileged, to say the least, to have with me one of probably our favorite people to have on FoosTalk Live, and as well as a great talent on the table herself. Please welcome Liz Hill-Moore. Hello, Liz.
Hello, Tom. Thank you so much for having me here and being able to chat with you and talk about what we.
Oh, absolutely! It's an absolute pleasure.
And you said this weekend and what we've seen so far, the competition, the drama.
Extraordinary.
It's extraordinary,
yeah.
And it's exciting, and there's more of it, I bet.
Oh, there's so much more yet to come. I mean, we've got a whole another day yet, at least. So we just watched Tony Spredeman meet Ryan Moore in open singles. So I just without saying another word, you give me your first impression in a sentence.
Wow. So my first impression in one sentence would be, I didn't expect that outcome, but I'm not surprised. I actually thought that Tony would probably come out on top, but knowing the kind of player that Ryan is and the fact that he got a little bit of a break kind of possibly gave him a little bit of an edge in not having anything to lose or being a little more relaxed. He came out and played a fantastic offensive 2-bar show.
Right. So from the 2-row, he was really he dominated.
He did, and there were a few moments there where Tony was on top of it. I mean, Tony's not gonna let him get away with everything, but he was so confident. He, being Ryan, decided to pass the ball back to himself at one point during the match.
Passed back to the 2-row.
Back to the 2-bar.
Wow.
And that right there is an indication of what he knew. Ryan, he knew what he was capable of doing. Not that he doesn't have a great 5 or a great 3-bar, because he certainly does, but he was so confident in what he was capable of doing on that 2-bar that he passed it backwards.
That's amazing. Yes. So he closed the deal apparently with the 2-row shots.
He did, and it surprised me a little bit because I think Tony jumped off of that hole slightly, but he was working that short hole so much, that short spray. Tony had to choose, I think. Right.
Yes. Made the wrong choices. So let's say you're facing another person who's of equal capability as you, and you're a world champ, and they're beating you on the 2-row. What do you do? What kind of adjustments do you make?
I mean, I know what I would do, and I was kind of surprised that Tony didn't make adjustments, but he's so good at what he does. Maybe he didn't feel like he had to, but I definitely would have jumped back to the back to the goalie position. If not, I definitely would have switched my defense and just tried something different.
Right. New look.
Yeah, a new look.
Yeah, interesting. Now, it sounds like, Ryan was just on fire. And here's the odd thing about Ryan. It's been a couple of years since he's actually been in a tournament.
And that obviously hasn't changed anything for him as a competitor. He has the foundation of being in this position, high pressure matches. It didn't faze him at all. And then there was actually a moment during the match where there was a little back and forth talk. I'm not even really sure what happened, if there was an infraction or somebody thought that something happened, but Ryan didn't feel the same way. And Tony said, well, this is, either way, a ref didn't happen. Neither one of them felt like they needed to have a ref, but it didn't faze Ryan.
Yeah, no kidding. So, any predictions you can make now when it comes to open doubles? Any speculations you'd like to make about that?
Shoot, there's so many fantastic open doubles teams. I have a few favorites. I don't know if I want to share them right now. I mean, you have
like everybody else, right?
Let's go back to what transpired at the Bardo. We had old school team of Robert Morris and Tommy Atkinson who presented themselves in the finals. And granted, they didn't win that match, but they've been working together to build this comeback.
Yes.
I would certainly love to see them win, and I think that they're contenders. And then we just watched Ryan Moore do his magic on the 2-bar, and he's paired with Blake Robertson, who is my open mix partner. I know what Blake is capable of doing, and then you know that they won World Cup together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a team to contend with.
And if they're both on fire, then
yeah.
And
then you have Tommy Orr,
right,
Jr.
Tommy Orr
and
Jr.
Brandon Moreland,
Yep,
who know what it's like to be in a finals match.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, especially at his young age. I mean, he's aged himself, 3 decades for most players.
He absolutely has, and he's such an impressive person, just in general, to be so young, and to really carry the maturity of a seasoned player on the table. That's what Tommy Orr brings to a foosball match. It's like he's young, but he makes it look like he's been doing this for 15, 20 years.
So, not to put any dispersions on being older, because I'm very old, but 32 years of playing foosball.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? That's your career so far. 32
years.
Well,
a lot of it is just because I love the sport of foosball, and it has its highs and lows. But I have to really give credit to these young female players that are just doing magical things. We all know.
Yes.
Sullivan Rue just won Women's Open Singles, which I'm super proud of her. I remember when she was born.
Yes.
And then you have her parents who are outstanding people and outstanding players in general. And then you have, Isabel and I love what they provide for us older players, which is just a little bit of extra fire.
Yep.
I still want to compete. I still want to be there with them.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes women's foosball all the more better.
Right.
So 32 years, it's just a number, Tom.
Yeah, it's right. It's exactly right. It's how you feel.
Sure.
And how you shoot from the 2-run.
Yeah.
So what's up for you this weekend? What's going on?
Well, I am here. I invested in my game. I'm here to, most and foremost, like what's important to me is women's doubles. Like I really, really desire to be in the finals of women's doubles this year. Because I did spend a lot of time investing into the event for myself and my teammate Christina. And what I mean by investment is that I think in my interview we talked about at Texas State, it was like I needed to do something. I felt like, okay, what am I going to do from this point on? So an investment had to happen, and I already feel growth from it. So even if here on out, if I'm done for the weekend, I'll be disappointed, but I know that there's some growth.
Right.
And that's okay with me.
Now, are you this weekend earning any points towards the World Cup?
I mean, I don't know that there's really points that you can earn towards the World Cup because the World Cup team is a chosen team. It's by selection. But there's points to be earned in the USTSO singles. So I'm definitely in that, and I'm looking forward to however that transpires and what kind of tournament that ends up there. But World Cup is always important to me because I get to play with all these women that I want to beat up so bad here at this competition.
Now, the way the guys put it is when they step up to an opponent on the table and they look across the table, they hate that person for the moment they're competing. They hate that person. But then as soon as the match is over, there's, oh, hey, how you doing? There's all kinds of, camaraderie. So is it the same when
I would agree with that 100%, at least from my perspective. If you're standing across the table from me and I have to compete against you, you're not we're not my favorite person.
No offense, it's okay.
And that does end when the match is over. And it might take 5, 10, 15 minutes sometimes.
So you have to come down.
Sometimes it's not always that way. Sometimes it's immediate, especially when you know that you played an amazing match and all 4 players or all 2 players, but if it's singles, you're putting everything out there and there's a high level of competition. Like I love that. I respect that. I mean, something people hear me say a lot when I'm playing matches is I love match point. I love
match point.
I love fifth game. I love
right.
overtime.
That
if
intensity.
I'm in it, I'll talk about it. I'll say, come on. This is what it's about. This is exciting to me.
Now, and we talked about this briefly before the mics went on, but me personally, I mean, I'm just a beginner, but I feel that moment when I'm playing foosball. I'm not focused on anything but what's happening right at the moment on the table. Everything in life just goes away.
Yes.
Disappears. Do you feel the same way?
I 100% feel the same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that's part of the addiction?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's part of why we love this game. It takes a certain person to stick foosball out for the long haul.
Yeah.
And we're all here. I mean, what you see in this room, there's a kindred spirit among every single player here. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, or where you come from, where you live in the country, what you believe in.
Yep.
We all hang out and play this sport because we can handle it.
Yeah, right. And we all love it to death, and so we're willing to do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really extraordinary. The energy, of course, and there's so much more yet to come. So wow. So it's so nice to be able to actually sit in the same room with people like yourself, and have these conversations. And,
I agree. I think the relationships that are developed and that we get to talk about this sport and hear different opinions and so on. I mean, I hope you can get more people up here to share.
Oh yeah.
What they're all about and what they think and see.
Oh, you're just the first of many, of course.
Yes,
but yeah.
I look forward to hearing what else is out there. I want to hear some opinions and thoughts from other players.
And in the near future, of course, with FoosTalk Live, we're always looking forward to having you, just come on in as a host.
Yes, it would be an honor. I enjoy FoosTalk Live. I may not always get there on the live portion.
That's okay.
But I always catch up because I want to hear what's going on and what people are thinking and who our guests are. And
right, exactly.
I want to hear what they have to say about the sport we all love.
Yeah. Well, Liz Hillmore. What an amazing pleasure it is to hang out with you.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, 2021,
Yes.
2021 Tornado Championships. This is
Saturday
extraordinary.
afternoon.
Are you going to do any commentating in the booth today?
If they will let me in,
I think they will.
I might have to scoot
Do you want me to pull
somebody
some,
over.
Maybe I'll pull some rank on these
Yeah,
guys.
pull some rank for
All
me.
right, I'll do what I can.
They need some female perspective up there.
Well, duh, yeah. Of course, it's not a guys' club, but no. Thank you so much for taking some time to
Thanks
talk.
for having me, Tom. I've enjoyed it.
All right, 2021. It's the Tornado Championships in Lexington, Kentucky. More to come here in FoosTalk Live. It's a FoosTalk Live backstage bonus interview. Now let's move on with Francois Veilleux. It's FoosTalk Live. I'm Tom Robinson. We are live at the 2021 Tornado Championships in Lexington, Kentucky. And this is easily the biggest event in foosball for the entire year, save the World Cup in Europe. But we are seeing an enormous number of players attending this particular event. Near record numbers, well in excess of 500 players this weekend. The competition is intense. And we've also seen, for the first time in a while, our brethren from the north have been able to come into the country to compete. In fact, from Quebec City, I'd like to welcome Frank Veilleux from Canada, of course. Now, I got to ask you the first question here, Frank. Why are Canadians such nice people?
This is a pretty good question. But I bet culture is full of mystery, It's
okay.
I can't really answer that, but our history is very different, and all that matters,
It's I've never met someone from your country who's rude or in any way disrespectful. We could take a lot of lessons from you guys. There's no question about that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, but there are all kind of people everywhere.
Yes.
So I agree with you that probably statistically there are maybe more nicer Canadians, but there are a bunch of assholes too.
Yeah, okay. I totally get that. So now you are a pro player, correct?
Yes, here in the States, I do play as a pro player.
Gotcha. And in Canada, you're ranked as a master, is that correct?
Yes, on the Bunzini ranking.
Bunzini,
I play
yes.
as a master. I think at an international level, I would be considered a master also.
Okay. By the way, I am so happy to meet someone who is a master at Bunzini, because as a kid, I was raised on a Bunzini table back in the 1970s, and everybody I meet, since then, now that I'm in the throes of these competitions, if I talk about Bunzini, they get a funny look on their face. So you and I, we are brothers in this promotion of the Bunzini table. How does the Bunzini table compare to the Tornado for you? How do you feel about that?
For me, like I like to say that my favorite table is the foosball table.
There you go.
Okay,
that's a great way to put it.
The dining table, not so much. I really prefer the foosball table.
Yes.
I don't really mind what table I play on. And
I love it.
Yeah, I started playing 12 years back and started playing on Bunzini tournaments and everything, and I kind of got my game raised on it. So
right.
I don't see the flaws as a player that is raised on Tornado would see them.
Mm-hmm.
I know there are flaws.
They're not. It's not flaws. I'm telling you, it's character. It's all about the absolute finesse that you have to play Bunzini correctly. If you can't handle the finesse, then get off the table.
Absolutely, it's a very different style of play for sure.
Yes,
I love both tables, but my game translates pretty good to both of them.
Yes, okay.
I play pretty much the same way. Yeah.
Now, for those who are not familiar, you're also a member of the Canadian World Cup team, correct?
Yes, I am.
And so you're headed to France in 2022.
I will apply for sure.
Okay.
I think I will be selected. I wouldn't see why I wouldn't, but I was on the 3 last World Cup teams.
Got it. So in Canada, how do you qualify for the World Cup team?
This year, I'm not aware of all the details this year because it might be quite different. We're kind of starting tournaments over now. Like it's been shut down for a couple of times. So, but what I know that is there going to be a tournament.
Yes.
Where the selection will happen there, like from the performance of the players.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. No, it's have you attended a World Cup in the past? Have you gone to?
Yes, I went to 3 of them.
2019, I assume.
2019 was it the
Spain?
Spain
yep.
one? Yeah. I was there.
Yeah.
In Spain. Yeah.
How'd you do there?
We did pretty good actually. The team event went, I would say, well, but we ended up losing to Switzerland.
Gotcha.
In the finals, they played very good. It was a very tight match. We're proud of the performance in general. But
sure.
I think we could have it's foosball.
Yes, of course.
Any conclusion could have happened.
Yep.
And in doubles, me and my partner Laurent Paquin, Larry, we call him Larry. We did pretty good. We beat the defending champions.
Wow.
Of that they won in Hamburg.
Okay.
Germans.
Got it. That's terrific.
And then we lost to the, I think it was the Czech guys. I don't quite remember, but they played off. They played very good. Yeah.
How do you feel about the French?
Oh, you mean the French players?
The French players, yeah.
No comment.
No comment.
No, just kidding. They're like we said earlier. There are all kinds of people everywhere, and
yes,
we played some French that were totally fun to play.
Yep.
And we played some that were not at all. And there are a lot of situations down there. I cannot really tell. Like it's tough to pick a side on this stuff when you're not aware of everything that happens.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, I know that in 2019 with some of the World Cup coverage that was taking place, there were some heated moments with some of the French players, especially against the Americans. There was some tough moments, but I think all in all, all is fair in foosball. Everybody seems to get along ultimately. But one of the things that I noticed about the coverage is the intensity of not just the playing, but the audience. There's an audience there. There are people watching, and many hundreds of people watching live. Why is that? What's going on in Europe that's not happening here?
Well, I guess in France, foosball is like they call it babyfoot, and it's another culture. They all have foosball tables in pretty much every bar, every cafe, restaurants, and everything. Every French knows what a foosball table is.
Yes.
And here it's not the case.
It seems we're just as obscure in this country as something like, I don't know, cornhole, or, we find the comparisons to some odd, weird sports that people think of, well, that's just something you do in the basement or in a bar someplace. No, it's actually a professionally played sport internationally. And of course, Europe gets that. America, unfortunately.
There's a lot of amateur players in Europe.
Yes.
There are much more amateur players. So that's a big difference for sure.
So when it comes to actually rising to the top of such a large group of players in Europe, I mean, how does one actually do that? It must be very difficult to actually become a top player in a place like Europe, Germany, France, even England. It must be difficult.
Obviously, there are so much players, but to answer this question, I will say that there are a lot of good players.
Okay.
So to become the best player, it takes a combination of multiple things,
Right.
And I would say that right now, with the retirement of Frédéric Collignon and
right.
Well, there is no dominant player in Europe.
Interesting. That hasn't happened
yet. I would
yet.
say.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, that was going to be my next question. If there was someone that you thought of that might be taking his place.
Well, I would say there are 10 players that are. Well, I wouldn't say they're all as good one each other, but they all can win.
Yes.
It's like here in singles, we had Tony winning. Pretty much all the time for a couple of years.
And now Ryan comes back this time, and we know the results of that. Ryan, after 2 years of retirement, basically dominated Tony. Not dominated, but eliminated him from the competition.
Sometimes a good break makes you think on your sweep, takes some maturity.
So how about you? Now, how many years have you been playing foosball?
Almost 12 years now.
12 years, okay. And can I ask, how exactly did you get turned on to foosball? What was the first time you saw a table? And
actually, in my very younger age, I had a friend that had a table at home, but I did not really pay attention at it.
Okay.
It was until much later when I had a table at work.
At work?
A bunch of people.
You had a table at work?
Yeah.
Oh, and where do you work?
It was an old job. It's one of my when I was, I would say, 15, 16 years old. I wasn't really interested in it at first, but some people were playing, and it was a shitty table.
Right. Understood.
But after that, I started playing in college.
College, okay.
There were Garlando tables, and now I really started having an interest in it, and I found out that there were leagues,
Yes.
in Quebec. And
so now, how are the leagues structured in Quebec, let's say, specifically? Now, if you want to just play, do you just show up and pay a fee and get put into a competition?
Yes, and in a non-pandemic situation, there is in every big town, I would say, because, there are maybe not as big towns as you guys have here in the States, but in Quebec City, Montreal, and Trois-Rivières, which is like the town in between.
Yep.
There are weekly tournaments.
Yeah, right.
And 4 or 5 times a year, there are major tournaments that are either going to be in each of these 3 towns.
Got it. Okay.
And that is where people takes it a bit more seriously, I guess.
Sure.
And teams up and
So, do you remember the first time you went to one of the bigger tournaments?
I do. It was in Quebec City, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did you do?
I did fine, but it's
the first time.
Yeah. We have multiple categories also but we have much less events.
I gotcha.
But there is the amateur, expert, and open category.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah. Well, often there's a pro-am, so you
can play with a pro.
You can, if you're an amateur, you can play with a pro. You can play 2 experts together.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
So it's evenly balanced.
And so I guess I did fine, but I wasn't really good at the time. I just started practicing and everything.
So when did you realize that you wanted to do this in a very in a competitive way to become a pro? Obviously, that's a lot of dedication, and 12 years is not a lot of time really for that to happen. So what was the determining factor? What made you say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to compete?
Well, at that first tournament,
okay,
I think I had already decided that,
Right, okay.
It's just something that, the first time you see a pro passing and shooting a long pull shot, it's just magical, It's an amazing feeling. You want to be able to end up doing this, and it was not necessarily about winning tournaments and beating people or whatever.
Yes.
But just knowing that my overall game quality was improving every time,
Yes.
And that is 2 things that are very different, because many players are going to start playing and they're going to try to win their matches at any cost.
Yes.
And if you want to play competition, it's fine. And if you want, it's not the best way to improve, though.
Right. Understood.
You have to play your matches in a way that it's going to get your game improved.
Yeah.
And even if you get blocked on your snake shot or anything, it's not necessarily a good decision to switch shots in a certain match. You gotta struggle with your shots in order for them to get better.
Right. Now, did you start out as a forward or as a defender? Where did you begin?
I started as a forward.
Did you really?
Yes.
Okay.
I practiced a lot at the beginning, so I kind of had the execution going pretty early.
Wow. So you caught on to that very quickly. I know some people like myself, and I've always been a defender. That's just where I'm happiest, and that's where I feel comfortable. But I also notice some people who start there and then they progress or move up to playing a forward.
Yep.
And what is your favorite shot, by the way? What's your choice?
These days, I shoot the rollover on every table if I'm playing a competition, and I love the pull shot also.
Oh, you do? Okay.
On Tornado, I really love it. I think it's very satisfying. The problem is that I'm not as physical as maybe some of the pull shooter in this room, so that disables me from shooting it on a long period of time.
Sure. Now, it also takes a bit more energy, it seems, to maintain that same intensity with a pull shot.
Yes, and it's a very difficult shot to be consistent and to read also. It's not false to say that the rollover is an easier shot to learn and easier shot to perform with, but right now that's how I play. So,
Okay. Now, when it comes to playing Bonzini, is there a specific way? Do you do a front pin or toe shot?
It used to be my main shot.
Okay.
The front pin.
Yep.
In the first 4 or 5 years that I played, and then I started shooting the roller as my main competitive shot.
Got it.
But it happens sometimes that if I'm playing a tournament and I don't want to wear off my wrists and I'm playing a game that I'm pretty confident in winning with my toe shot, my wrists flick, I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I like to shoot it anyway. So
yeah, and it's satisfying. You know what it is about the Bonzini? I love the sound of the goal.
Oh yeah,
right.
You are right.
It's so much more satisfying.
Yeah.
Bing.
Yeah.
But it's the rest of these people, they don't get it, and it's okay. I get that. Leave the tables to us. But no, it's great to finally meet somebody who is into Bonzini and really excels with it. So what's happening for you this weekend here at the 2021 Tornado Championships? What events have you played, and how are you doing?
I've played both pro events, the singles, the doubles.
Yep.
And I've played in the both open events.
Oh,
also.
Gotcha.
And I did not do very well.
Okay.
I would say that I cannot expect to come here and win if I stop practicing for 2 years. So
stop practicing for 2 years.
Yeah, because I did not have a table at home during the pandemic, and there were no tournaments. So.
Right, exactly. That makes it tough. Well, I mean, you're on the rise again, right? And so when you were playing this weekend, what was your most challenging match? Who was the person that gave you the most headache?
Well, I had a couple headaches, to be fair. But yeah, in open doubles with my partner Brad Loreen, we.
You played with Brad Loreen, okay?
Yes,
yeah, we know Brad. Yeah, okay.
We played 2 good matches to start with which we won, and then we had to play Gummison and Tracy.
Oh, you played those? You played Gummison and Tracy? Really? Okay.
Yeah. And it did not went too bad, but we ended up losing 3 games in a row.
No kidding. Okay.
We were leading in the first game 4-2. And
wow. To say that, I mean, Tracy and Dave, I mean, they're one of the toughest teams here, more than likely. And you were actually up 4-2. So they just turned on the gas? What happened?
Well, I think every 4 people on this table could agree that this first match, we should have gotten it. I think so. But then you're playing 2 of the greatest players in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They can go up 4-2 and win it. It's
right. It's not a big deal for them.
It's not a big deal, but I feel very strongly that these guys knew we could beat them.
Yep.
And
okay.
That's why they ended up playing very well also.
They had to turn on their A game then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, got it. So what's in the near future for you besides the World Cup? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to receiving my Leonhardt table this month.
Are you getting a Leonhardt?
Yes.
That's a great table, by the way.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great table to put everyone together.
Yep.
On the same. I don't know. I think it's pretty even for everyone to play on this table.
It's such a unique table in the sense that it's well built and it has a lot of versatility. The ball is sticky, which I kind of like, and you can catch it easier and you can maneuver it around the table. And again, I think it favors the front pin, the front pin shots. I played it on it in Germany, in fact, back in 2011 for the first time, and I was, a traditional pull shooter on a Tornado table does not do well at first. With a Leonhardt, you have to put the ball forward on the rod a little bit further. When I figured it out, it was great. But it's a great table, and so
it is.
And you're going to have this in your house, and you're going to be practicing up for World Cup.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty much like there is Tornado, Bonzini, and the other dominant table is Leonhardt.
Right.
You have to be good on those 3 if you want to be able to win a World Cup tournament.
Exactly right.
And the Leonhardt is the only table I've not put the time on.
Okay.
To get really to get my game up to the same level of Bonzini and Tornado.
So when you go to Europe, it's not a big deal.
Exactly.
You can compete.
So I'll be able to practice, and I will look forward to play every tournament there is in Canada, at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out there and do it. So in Canada, by the way, are they looking at re-restricting because of the Delta variant of COVID?
That is tough to say, but the restrictions changes very often.
Right, it has to.
Say.
Right, just because it's so fluid. Yeah.
And right now, it's been a pretty stressing weekend for me and the other Canadians that are here, because the testing process to come back into the country is kind of not working very well, I would say.
Okay.
It's a tight thing to do, because you have to get tested and then get back into the country 72 hours.
Yeah.
Jeez,
that is tough, especially when you're in a tournament like this with so many opportunities.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, right now we're all in the same situation where we don't have our test results.
Okay.
And we're all leaving tomorrow.
Yes.
So this is kind of so it's not so good.
Well, let's hope that everybody's okay.
Thank you, Tom.
But it's such a pleasure to have you come and sit down and talk to us. We don't often get a chance to really talk to Canadian players or players from other countries. So this is a great pleasure to have you stop by and say hi. So again, Frank Veilleux, thank you so much for being with us. Safe travels back to Quebec City. But we look forward to seeing you at future American tournaments and, of course, the World Cup.
Of course,
and, the best of luck, of course. But you've been listening to Frank Veilleux and FoosTalk Live. We are here at the 2021 Tornado Championships on Monday, actually. And the tournament is not over yet, but more to come on FoosTalk Live.
Inside Foos and FoosTalk Live proudly present Shootin' the Shot with Clay Tumey, Tuesdays.
I'm Tony Spredeman. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I've been living in Florida for about the past 10 years. And I'm a professional foosball player.
A professional foosball player. So that might be the first time I've heard you say your name. So now I know how to say it correctly. It's not Spredeman. It's not Spredeman, right? It's Spredeman,
yeah.
How often do people mess that up?
Pretty much always.
Does it bother you?
No, I don't care.
It doesn't really matter. So it's the same with me. Like my last name is Tumey. People say Tummy.
Tumey.
You've
earned that.
And as you can see, I have no notes. Like there's nothing but two mics between us. And this is my preferred method of talking to people.
Yeah, I enjoy this more natural, right?
Yeah, I agree. And it's also easier for me because I can just talk to you without worrying about where am I in my list of questions.
Right.
And you're not anti-beer or
no, I'll party afterwards.
Yeah,
but I'm here to do a job, and I came to the Worlds to win. And even if I don't win, at least I can go home saying, "Hey, you put forth the proper effort," and I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
Shootin' the Shot with Clay Tumey this Tuesday with Tony Spredeman. Find it here on Podbean and FoosTalk Live. FoosTalk Live is a product of Inside Foos, all rights reserved. Brought to you in part by InsideFoos.com, Protectoflex, 518 Prince, Foosballers the Movie, Foosball Clubs USA, and the USTSO. Tune in again next week for another episode of FoosTalk Live. In the meantime,
we'll see you foozin'.